Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Old Dude Knows. This edition, I'm going to set something straight. A fallacy that's been set before the people for well over 100 years now. Scotland Yard helped with this fallacy, and just Sherlock Holmes himself, Conan Arthur Doyle, Dr. John Watson. And the fallacy is that Sherlock Holmes is a fictional character. Okay? Sherlock Holmes is not a fictional character. Sherlock Holmes was a real person. The reason, and I'll go through a few of these, is some of it was for anonymity. Some of it was to keep him away from organized crime. Going after him, that they said, oh no, these are just stories that are made up. But obviously, I can prove through here that Sherlock Holmes was a real historical person. Sherlock Holmes was born January 6th, 1854. Not a lot initially was known about his parents. I believe this was also on purpose to more go with the story that he was not an actual person. We do know that his brother Mycroft, a long-time public servant in England, part of the movers and shakers, the people that actually run the government. He was an advisor to King Edward, King George. Probably known to be just about as smart and as deductive, if not more so, than Sherlock, but he liked to stay behind the scenes. So we know of him. We also know another real person, Mrs. Hudson. In the original stories that were written about his cases, led you to believe that Mrs. Hudson was just a landlord, but you find out later on she was a lot more than that and a lot more integral to the entire situation. Couple things that are true. There is no 221B Baker Street. When they started sharing Sherlock stories, which was a collaboration between John Watson and Arthur Conan Doyle, and the magazines at the time, they didn't want a whole bunch of people rushing to where Sherlock and Dr. Watson actually lived, so they made up the address 221B Baker Street. So don't go looking for that. You're not going to find it. So Conan Arthur Doyle, as you find out later on, was more like a literary agent. John Watson, also a doctor. Arthur Conan Doyle was also a medical doctor. They knew each other through different medical events. Watson got back from Afghanistan, started working with Holmes, would tell his friend and fellow doctor Arthur Conan Doyle about what's going on. He said, this is great. Conan Doyle also was very much into literature. He liked to write historical novels, which you can't make any money on. So they started putting out some of the Sherlock Holmes stories in periodicals, and they became even more famous, the stories were, than they thought. So they started making some money off this, which Conan Doyle really liked, because he wanted to be a writer, but what he wanted to do didn't really make that much money. They could make some money off this, allowing them to do what they wanted to do without having to worry about money, which is solve crimes and write historical fiction. So you've heard the stories that went along, and the different adventures, the different cases that went on from the late 1890s, or actually late 1880s to early 1890s. At that point, there was a big organized crime group in London ran by Dr. Moriarty, who in fact went to the same school, same college as Conan Arthur Doyle. I'm trying to remember what college that was. Anyway, they went to the same college. So, with all this going on, Holmes is trying to help get rid of this, organized crime group. And at the same time, he's getting tired of being in the paper. He's tired of the notoriety. He's tired of people coming up to him on the street and wanting him to find their cat. He wants to get out of this whole thing. Well, he can't really do this with Moriarty. He can't just abandon his country. So then, everybody knows what happened. Richenbach, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. My German's not that good. Falls in Switzerland. Holmes tracks him down to there. There's a struggle. A little unclear what happened. Moriarty goes into the falls. Holmes, who was away from Watson at the time, realizes this is his chance. So he just disappears, gets himself out of the situation. It is assumed that he died. Later on, pretty soon after that, he let Watson know he was still alive, let his brother Mycroft know that he was still alive, but they played off that he was dead to stop Moriarty's rest of his gang from coming after him. Later on, he came back, but was in semi-retirement. So that's what we know. We know from that part of his life. Okay, then he kind of disappears from the public eye. 14 years later, we find him living in Sussex as a gentleman farmer, basically keeping bees. Pretty much in retirement. I guess occasionally Mycroft will send for him, but pretty much out of the light. He meets up with, and this is how we know a lot about this. He meets up with Mary Russell, who is an orphan living with her aunt on the next farm over. She wrote a lot of memoirs about their life. Holmes teaching her his ways, and this goes on for many years. She wrote memoirs, and the reason we find out all this is her father was originally from the San Francisco Bay Area. Somehow, and I'm not exactly sure how, after she wrote her memoirs, they got back to the Bay Area and were there apparently 50, 75 years. Somebody had them. I don't know if they had them in the attic or what. But they came into the possession of noted mystery author Lori R. King, my homegirl from Santa Cruz. Anyway, she doesn't know she's my homegirl. She doesn't know I even exist. But I do have an autographed copy of one of her books. Anyway, she has taken these memoirs, have gone through them, checked did fact check, made sure everything, and has copied them down, made them a little smoother into the stories, mostly about Mary Russell, because they're Mary Russell's memoirs, but you also find out a lot that's going on with Sherlock Holmes at the time. So you probably want to read those, tell you more about Sherlock Holmes. Some other good books you could read. There's a book called Mycroft, which was researched by I can't think of the right thing. You go to Oxford, what's that called? Or what? Anyway, really smart guy, Lou Alcindor. He goes by the name of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar now. You should read that. A Rhodes Scholar, that's what I couldn't think of. He wrote and researched and wrote the books Moriarty and Sherlock, which gives an insight into Mycroft's younger years and Sherlock's from turning 18 to into his early 20s. Those are good. So, yes, Sherlock Holmes is a real person. I mean, I don't know why people think he's a fictional person. I know they kind of spun it that way just to keep it out of the limelight and let him do his job. But obviously, read the books by Arthur Conan Doyle. Read the books by Laurie R. King, Kareem. Obviously, Sherlock Holmes, a real person, not a fake person. I mean, if he was a fake person, how would I know his birthday? I mean, it's just ridiculous. So shout out to Arthur Conan Doyle, Dr. John Watson for letting us know about this great detective, and shout out to again my my homegirl Laurie R. King for letting us know more about later in his life, and Mary Russell. As a matter of fact, the latest installment of Mary Russell's memoirs, Laurie R. King has just put out. It's called The Jack of Knaves. As soon as I am done here, I'm going to continue reading it. It's very good. We haven't found out much about Sherlock in here, other than he was still working for Mycroft off and on. This part of the memoirs has been more to do with Mary Russell. But again, it's quite obvious. If you don't believe me, Laurie R. King is on Facebook. Ask her. I mean, it's obviously true. So, all right. So, Sherlock Holmes, real person. This old dude knows. Now you know. Until next time.